Alright, hello everyone. Hopefully that should be better. Can everyone see me on Twitch and YouTube? I restarted. Hopefully everything should be good. I'll restart this video we were watching, because we were only like 5 minutes in. Cool beans, welcome back everyone. Sorry about those technical issues. Like I was saying, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be looking at Fyre Fest 2, the long-awaited sequel to the disaster from, when was that? Like 2017 when Fyre Festival happened? You've probably seen... I don't know. YouTube is stuck? Did YouTube break again? Weird. Anyway, so, yeah. Today we're going to be looking at what he has to say about it, the attempts to try and get this thing going, and, should be good. Thanks.
Fyre 2 is real. My dream is finally becoming a reality.
8 years after the infamous Fyre Festival spectacularly flamed out,
no one can get in the room,
leaving attendees who'd been expecting a glamorous music festival, sleeping in emergency relief tents and eating cheese sandwiches.
Okay, how long till water comes?
The failed festival even gaining global attention, with streaming documentaries showcasing the debacle.
The biggest event in a decade, I promise you.
Its founder, Billy McFarlane, who spent 4 years behind...
Why wouldn't he at least name it something differently for marketing? Because this is all he has. He owes people millions and millions of dollars in restitution for the first festival. He owes people millions of dollars. All he has at this point as an asset is his infamy. So he's trying to parlay that infamy into money. And it's despicable, and it's nonsensical, but unfortunately we do live in an economy where just being famous, even by way of infamy, is its own valuable thing. So he's trying to use that, luckily I think unsuccessfully, to raise some money. But this festival isn't going to happen either, and if it does, it'll be crap. You know, it'll be barely a little thing, and he's describing all sorts of ridiculous claims on the website that just aren't going to happen. Hbeard says, so this guy was in charge of something, royally screwed it up, got in legal trouble for it, but is now back and expects people to trust him to do well this time. As of 2024, this man is a genius. 2025 is the year where we go, hey, we made horrible decisions in the past. What if we did that again? But worse and stupider because we should know better.
Bars for Fraud says it's back and will actually happen safely this time. McFarlane sat down exclusively.
We promise, guys. We super promise you'll actually get a festival for the money you spend on a festival. We know that before, we put on a music festival and took people to the Bahamas, and then there was no place for them to stay, and not adequate food or water, and we didn't have a way for them to get back after none of the musical acts showed up. But hey, just like give us money. Why not? Let's spin that wheel, you know? That's life. Everything's a gamble, man. Altered Undying says, hey Hannah, you missed my bits. I wanted you to know my High Priestess cards for the Nightbreed Tarot. Here's the link. Oh, cool. Very nice. Love me some Nightbreed. Alright, where was that?
With NBC News, revealing the festival's exact location, Isla Mujeres, Mexico, and new dates, May 30th to June 2nd. Pushed back by...
The thing about this date, this location, this island off of Mexico, I should point out that the island, after this interview, put out a press release that basically said, we have no idea what you're talking about. Fyre Festival 2 is nowhere near fruition despite organizer Billy McFarlane's claims, Mexican officials say. Tickets for the late May, early June 2025 event, reportedly being held on Isla Mujeres, has gone on sale, but the necessary paperwork hasn't been filed as of yet, officials say. On Wednesday, February 26th, the Ayuntamiento del Isla Mujeres, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, the city hall for the Mexican island released a statement about the planned follow-up to the chaotic 2017 event. The, quote, General Directorate for Tourism of Isla Mujeres informs that no person or company has requested permits for this office or any other municipal governmental department for said event, it read. The City Hall shared the same statement when reached out by People, the magazine, and advised travelers to get information about tourism-related events from their official communication channels. Edgar Gaska, Director General of Economic Development and Tourism of Isla Mujeres, also denied that officials were aware of the festival, telling The Guardian in a story published on Thursday, February 27th, "We have no knowledge of this event, nor contact with any person or company about it. For us, this is an event that does not exist." According to its website, Fyre Festival 2 is going to be held from May 30th to June 2nd, with general tickets starting at $1,400. That's good, right? We're, what, March, April, May, a month and a half out? We're like a month and a half out, and we just don't have an island? That's good. That's fine. That's good. That worked out the first time, so.
A month.
We just needed the extra month to give our partners time to get everything ready.
Using partners is new this time around. McFarlane is no longer handling the details. A major festival operator is on board, along with hotel and travel partners and ticketing companies.
Why do you think those partners agreed?
I should point out, the hotel partners, the people that they claim are hotel partners, also came out after this interview and were like, "What are you talking about? We have no business relationship with these people." So, I do want to point out, so far, they have claimed to have acts that are secret and no one can know about them, an island, and the island came out and was like, "What are you talking about?" And hotels that they claim they're partnered with, which have also come out and said, "What are you talking about?" So we're doing great. So far, this music festival has no location, no place for people to sleep, and no musical acts. We're doing good. Month and a half out. It's gonna be rough, but I think we can put this together. We need a little elbow grease, and we'll order everyone some pizzas, and we'll brainstorm how we salvage this. Yeah, we'll get into the fight pits. I'm glad that the planning... I guess I'll jump the gun a little on this one. They have fight pits planned at the event, and the first time Fyre Fest happened, it immediately devolved into sort of like a barbaric fight for survival amongst a bunch of like influencer assholes who've never had a problem in their entire life. So they were like pissing on each other's beds and stuff, stealing toilet paper. It was pandemonium. So this time they've created fight pits. That way, we start our post-apocalyptic nightmare with a Thunderdome already prepared. We can have our fights to the death, organized style, okay? No more pandemonium.
Agreed to partner with you, given what happened the first time?
Fyre 2 really isn't about the past, and it's not really about me. It's about...
It is, though, otherwise you wouldn't be using that name. The only reason to use the name is to try and make money off of your infamy and the scam you did.
Taking the vision, which is strong.
Tickets go on sale this morning, just $2,000 in total, ranging in price from $1,400 to $1.1 million. An experience McFarlane says includes yacht accommodations and access to artists performing, though no artists
That's unsafe.
have been announced yet.
So we're going to have artists across...
Ronder says, "Can we all agree no one going to this is innocent no matter what happens to them, right? You knew what was going on." The first time I did feel bad for some people. Some of the influencers seemed like big dick bags. But yes, there were people I felt bad for. I will say, if you buy tickets to Fyre Festival 2, and you expect anything good to happen from that, I just wish you the best of luck in everything you try to do in life, because you're really gonna need it.
Electronic, hip-hop, pop, and rock. However, it's not just music. We might have a professional skateboarder do a demonstration. We might have an MMA champion teach you techniques in the morning. And
You say we might have. Are any of these for sure haves? Are they booked?
so I think what makes Fyre so cool is that we are selling the experience of Fyre. I want to be one of the first festivals that can sell out with no artists.
But you do.
In his head, what he's going is, you remember the conversation in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure where they're like, we need to get really good guitars, and they're like, we don't need good guitars, we need to learn to play, and they're like, we can't learn to play until we get good guitars. I feel like he thinks, okay, I can't get any acts, but if I can sell out the festival, that I can go to artists and say, we're already sold out. See? It's legitimate. So I think he's attempting to do this idea of selling out the festival with no acts because it's all he can think to do. I'll sell the tickets first, and then I'll find the artists. He's trying to, like, ass backwards producers his way into making this work. Just fascinating.
Do have them booked.
If you build it, they will come. Yes, except without the ghosts.
We're announcing the artists over the next few months, so I'm not in charge of booking the talent.
Will these be A-list names that are involved?
I really hope so, and I expect so from our conversations.
But whether
I sure do hope so.
McFarlane will see any of this firsthand, an open question, because part of his penalty restricts his travel.
Can you go to Mexico?
So I don't know. I have to be okay with mentally maybe watching a live stream from my computer and crying a little bit. I have to ask for international travel.
McFarlane says he
can't leave the country because of his felonies.
knows the experience might not be for everyone.
This is the plot to Wayne's World 2? Oh my god, it is! Yes, it is! I like Wayne's World 2. It's not as good as the first one. It was pretty good.
It's 2,000 people taking the risk, seeking the adventure, and wanting to be there for the moment.
Taking the risk. Is it a risk to buy a ticket to Fyre Festival too?
I think it's always a risk. You're taking a risk because
That's such a funny pitch, because it's like, most of the time it's not. When I purchase something, it's not a risk. Not in any, like, appreciable way. Like, if I were to buy a ticket to Coachella, no part of my brain is going, is Coachella gonna happen? Like, unless... I don't understand his thought process here other than outright lying. Like, if I buy milk at the store, I'm not like, ooh, this is a risk. I wonder if there's milk in here. Like, no, it's milk. Because they're selling me milk. If you're selling me a music festival, it should come with the guarantee, a reasonable guarantee, of a music festival. It's not a mystery bag you open up from the dollar store and you go, ooh, I got a Robert cop. Like, this is pretty cut and dry. You sell me ticket to music festival. I go to music festival. I hear music from bands you hired. I feel like he's completely lost control of what he thinks a transaction is.
because I made a lot of bad decisions and messed up the first festival. Until it's experienced, there is a risk component to it.
So now a minimum of $500,000 from this Fyre Fest will go toward the $26 million in restitution that McFarlane still owns. And even beyond that, he and every one of his partners have committed to 10% of the total profits going toward it as well. By the way, based on interest they've seen on their site.
And then when we fuck over people from this one, we'll get Fyre Festival 3 ready. And by the time that's done, we'll be gearing up for Fyre Festival 4, which we can pay back Fyre Festival 3 and 2 people from. It's just music festivals all the way down. We got this. It's fine.
They say they think they could sell out within a day. Of course, a lot of people are wondering if McFarlane can pull this off, given what a chaotic disaster the festival was the first time around.
Why do they even placate to this level? It disgusts me how complicit the media is in shit like this. The story should be, look at this scam artist scamming people again, not reading his press release for him and acting credulous, like there's even a sliver of a chance this is going to happen the way he describes it. It's insanity that they let these people get away with this crap.
Confirm with each partner that they are, in fact, working with him to make it a reality.
But basically, he's selling, like, he's the draw. Like, the scandal is the draw.
He doesn't know really anything that's going on because he's not booking the artists.
It cares about seeing the music.
Who's going to buy that ticket today?
The people who are like, they want to be like, I bought Fyre Festival and put it on Instagram.
You don't know who the artist is going to be. You don't even know where in Mexico it is.
Could be a skateboarder. Could be a skateboarder.
Yeah, well, so that's the idea, is this experience in addition to music. But Savannah, exactly what you're saying is right. He says, I'm targeting 2,000 people who know that this is what they're coming for, to kind of survive Fyre Fest 2.
Targeting is a good choice of words there, I would say. I'm targeting 2,000 individuals for this music festival.
See what actually ends up
and
happening
his scandal is the selling point. Like
Totally.
that's why
And
he's
very aware of that.
Well, what A-list artist is, let me sign up for the scandal. That is part deux.
Guessing
He
they're
didn't
not.
say A-list. He said there is a list.
A list. Got it. Got it.
Based Al Roker.
Is a list.
Hey, Al.
Good distinction, Al.
Just by the way, if you haven't seen the documentaries, though, it's
They're
Fyre
You want to know
Festival. There's
something
two of them,
fascinating?
right?
He has not seen either of them.
Yeah.
He says he
I get
hasn't
that.
watched them. Some of them came out while he
Is
was
the Today Show anything but infomercials with roundtable and mild audience participation? That's one of the reasons I hate morning shows like Today, Good Morning America. I just hate it. And I'm not like against anyone who just wants like light entertainment in the morning, maybe a little bit of news peppered in, human interest stories. I got nothing against it. I'm just saying, for me personally, I find it insufferable and fake and hacky, and I hate it. H-Bird says, this weirdly makes sense from a business perspective. 90+% on the people who buy tickets will be C or D-list influencers looking for content. They also would have had a hard time suing since everyone knows what's happened last time. It's like an entire grift economy. Like a parallel grift economy that's like latched onto our economy, and it's just growing like a tumor and becoming the dominant like entity in the economy. I'm sure this is fine, though. I'm sure it's fine. We're good.
still behind bars. He hasn't watched them. He says maybe after this one, if it goes well, he will decide to watch them. But again, he might not even actually be able to be there.
Sometimes people who get scammed deserve to get scammed.
He did his time, though. I mean, he did 4. He got sentenced for 6. He did 4. He's out.
So the fuck what? That doesn't make him not a scammer.
And he's paying that money.
Like, I get it. I don't think he should be discriminated against, like, for things that are just, like, neutral things. We are talking about, do you trust this person to take your money for a product when they have a history of not doing that? Ridiculous.
Back little by little.
You should believe them.
Maybe it'll be amazing.
This time, though, with those operators, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll go check it out.
You know who's always reliable? Al Roker.
Al Roker.
Craig, I think you might want to walk that one back.
No, I don't.
We have some more other stuff. We have a bunch of Instagram and TikTok posts from Billy during the planning of this whole thing, and I want to take a look at the Fyre Fest website. Real quick before we get into the next thing, though, I do want to say, after this stream, we are doing a paid patron and YouTube member-only stream, so if you want to be a part of that, make sure you either become a paid member on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or become a member on YouTube. Excuse me. We're gonna watch a movie, either White Zombie, which is a Bela Lugosi film, or Voyage to the Planet of the Prehistoric Women, which is a sci-fi film, which was adapted from a Soviet film for the United States. So, we'll do a little vote about which one we're gonna watch. We'll do that in the patron and member-only stream. All right, next up. Check out this interview.
We spoke about Fyre Festival 2.0, the follow-up to the biggest train wreck of a music event of all time. You know, the one where ticket holders shelled out megabucks to sleep on wet mattresses in emergency tents and eat stale bread and processed cheese?
Yeah,
fun.
Isn't White Zombie the first film to use the word zombie? I actually don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to look.
Well,
I can't think of an earlier one because, like, White Zombie is 32, which is the early sound era. So at minimum, I'm sure it's the first sound film to use the word zombie. I don't know if it was ever in the title of a silent.
Now we're joined by Billy McFarlane.
White Zombie is pretty slow. A lot of movies from the 30s are, but...
The Fyre Festival founder himself. Billy, thank you very much for your time tonight. So, Fyre 2.0. Is this going to happen?
Fyre 2 is going to happen, but I have one really important question for you guys. Why is Australia the second biggest market for Fyre? I think there's something in the water there, but I think we all get along. So, well, let's...
Oh, his fake salesman affect makes my skin crawl. I'm so personable. Please buy tickets.
make this happen.
Oh, wow.
We love chaos. We do like chaos. We like an adventure.
Yeah, no, White Zombie is not about the modern type of zombie that was sort of fixed in the imagination from 1969's Night of the Living Dead. It's like the voodoo type zombie, where the word actually originates from.
Yeah. Now, this festival's only a couple of months away. Have you sold any?
Do Australians just fucking love music festivals? They give me music festival vibes. Like, they'd be like, hey, mate! And they'd be at a music festival, like, with a big beer or something, and with their shirt off. That's the vibe I get from Australians.
Tickets yet?
We have sold tickets. I think what makes Fyre 2 so unique are the people who do come. They're taking this risk. They're seeking the adventure. They're willing to travel. And I'm really excited who I'm going to meet there. So I think the best part about Fyre 2 are the people who are taking the leap to come.
So you're saying that...
He keeps again framing this as like a leap of faith. It's so ridiculous. Rob Zombie should remake White Zombie. Rob Zombie should actually do everyone a favor and stick to music where he has talent. That's overly mean. That's overly mean. I'm not a particular fan of Rob Zombie's filmmaking. To be clear, his original stuff like House of a Thousand Corpses, it's its own thing, and I can respect that. But oh boy, do I not like the Halloween films. Do not like the Halloween films he did. One little bit.
Taking a risk, I'll be honest, isn't especially heartening. What sort of risk specifically are they taking?
Unfortunately, we all know what happened with the first Fyre. I made a lot of bad decisions, a lot of mistakes, and I'm doing Fyre 2 for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons is to pay everybody back for the wrongs that I caused for Fyre 1, but it's also about bringing this vision of Fyre 2 to life. So you're taking the risk because of the history, but you're also taking the risk to go meet new people, go to a new location.
Which crime means he can't go to his own festival again? Some kind of felony fraud, I believe. Sorry, my voice is a little iffy today. MH Darkbeast says, Hannah, this Fyre Festival 2 dumpster fire is depressing. You and chat need a laugh. See what it is.
Erkennen. BMW. Mercedes. Audi. Tesla.
I kind of saw that coming, but it's pretty good.
Location, hopefully try some adventures that push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone.
Let's talk about one of those potential adventures, the music part, because you've not shared any details that I know of yet about who's playing, and you've said that you want it to be one of the first festivals that can sell out without announcing any musicians.
That's such a convenient way to try and avoid talking about the fact that you have no talent. Now, don't get me wrong, they could have gotten some small bands or something that no one's ever heard of, but I'm talking about, like, actual bands that people would go to a music festival to see as a headliner. Just a Peach with $1 tip says, I was taking a nap, so I'm late. This looks interesting. I'm catching up. Hope the nap was good.
Do you have anyone locked in?
We do have music artists locked in.
Wasn't Fyre Festival a fake from 4 years ago? Yes, this is the sequel. He's trying to do the same scam again. He's doing the scam again. That's where we're at. We're just a scam Ouroboros eating our own tail. Not even that good of a tail. It doesn't taste very good.
And we actually have 2 Australian music artists locked in. I'm not allowed to announce them yet.
Oh, come on.
But I promise, I think we promised you guys before, we'll let you know first.
Is it Dom Dollar?
I wonder if that's just an outright lie. Like, I wonder if he's just making that up on the spot. I'm not making any claims. I'm just saying, I wonder if he's just making that up on the spot.
Think twice.
It's not, but I'm a big fan, so
Is
hopefully
it
he does
Kylie
come.
Minogue?
What's cool for us is that instead of just putting a lineup out there with 30 artists on it, we're going to announce one artist at a time. But the rule is that every artist has to host some kind of experience or excursion during the day before they perform.
Like
so
what?
we have an Australian.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think many like big artists want to like host a little class or whatever for your fucking festival. Really? Like who's a big name? Someone give me who would actually maybe be headlining at a music festival in 2025. I'm not a music person. You guys know I'm a movie gal. Give me a name. Anyone. Sabaton. Is that a person? Taylor Swift wouldn't be at a festival. She does her own concerts. I don't think she would go to a festival. Zed? Windrose? I cannot tell if any of these are real groups. It doesn't matter. Bruno fucking Mars. Sure, that feels now you're just giving Frank Sinatra, he's dead. Kesha was popular like 20 years ago. She's still popular. Band. Right? If I'm Bruno Mars, I'm not gonna teach a fucking dance class and perform. How much money do you think you're paying him that he's gonna do like a dance class for people, you know?
Australian pop singer who we've booked, and she'll be hosting a whale shark excursion during the day and then singing at night. So yeah, excited to announce it.
Amy Shark. It's Amy Shark. Have you got Amy Shark? It's Amy Shark playing at Fyre Festival too.
This is a scoop.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, that's not a no.
It's not a no, is it?
I have to ask the question, though, that will be on everyone's list, because you spoke about the first Fyre Festival as something where you made a lot of mistakes. Let's be clear, Billy, you were convicted of fraud. You pleaded guilty to fraud. So for anyone to buy a ticket, unless they just want to come along for the ride and
Former NFL star Antonio Brown is the first confirmed. I don't know who that is. I recognize the name, but what's he gonna do? He's not a musician, so is he just gonna like be like, hey, I do football. What's up, everyone? Or is he like an aspiring DJ? That'd be fun.
hope it's a disaster that they can tell a story about. Why would they believe you?
I actually don't think I can convince anybody to come to Fyre 2, but I also
what a good sales pitch.
also think that's what makes Fyre 2 so oddly interesting. Fyre 3, Fyre 4, it'll keep evolving. However, the people who are self-selecting into coming, and they're almost like the early adopters. It might be the person that
self-selecting into coming sounds like a threat. Self-selecting makes it sound like they're culling the herd of like the most gullible rubes. They've self-selected for our program.
Google or at Amazon or working at the radio, looking around their office and saying,
H-Baird with 40 bits says, oh my god, a music festival that's just D-list celebrities doing karaoke. That's my idea. Nobody steal it. You can have it.
you know what? I want to be different from my colleagues, different from my family, different from my friends, and I'm going to go for 3 days, and no matter what happens, I'm going to make the most of it. So I think it's kind of a blessing that it's so hard to convince people to come just based on who it's going to attract.
Billy, I want to be different from my colleagues. I want to be different.
You are.
I want to.
Mission accomplished, Sam.
Well, I want to come. Can I have a free ticket? I'm not joking. Please, can I have a free ticket?
Just for you. Just for you.
Oh, really?
Hang on, is that a yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you confirming it? I'll come, please.
As long as we can send pictures back to the rest of the hosts showing them what they're missing.
Oh! And these.
That guy's not getting a ticket to shit.
These are the expensive tickets, not the cheap ones, right? These are the $1 million ones.
We can't do that, but we'll find one suitable for your high-end taste. Don't worry.
I mean, this is a bit huge for me. Really, it's been a pleasure.
So excited.
Are you kidding me? Fyre Festival 2, it's going to be the time of my life. Me and Amy Shark, we're going to party.
You're exactly who we want. Australia's the best.
This man has a Mr. Beast smile. You can call him a sociopath. That's fine. You're allowed.
We appreciate your time.
The 1.1 million tickets are sold out. They're sold out. I don't believe that. I genuinely don't believe for a second that he has sold those tickets. If anything, he just pulled them to make it look like they were selling in order to get FOMO, because that's one of the things that help him get so many people bought into it the first time. Okay, let's take a look at some of his posts from his Instagram. Oh, here he is with Donald Trump! Well, we'll just keep that up for a second. Man, it sure does seem like every scam artist in the country sure loves this guy. Fucking crazy. Wonder why. Sometimes life is so on the nose, you just get upset with the writers, you know? You just go, this is hack. This is hacky. On the bright side, I will say, in movies in the future, the way you're going to be able to tell a villain is a villain is on their wall. They're going to have, like, a picture with Donald Trump. That's kind of shorthand for, like, you could do that with Richard Nixon for the past, like, 30 years. Oh, how do you show a character's evil? Oh, they have a picture with Richard Nixon or maybe Ronald Reagan. Trump's another one of those. Visual signifier for corrupt individual. We did it. Anyway, okay. His TikToks.
Good morning, everybody. We just announced on the Today Show that Fyre 2 is taking place April 25th through April 28th on a private island off of the Caribbean coast in Mexico. Ticket applications are available on firefestival2.com. Good morning.
Ticket applications? Normally I just buy things.
What's up, guys? Quick Fyre update. People have applied to buy 20,000 tickets since Monday morning, but the island only holds 3,000 people. So we are moving on and focusing on booking talent. Drop a line. Who do you want to see perform at Fyre Festival 2? See you guys April 25th, 2025. What's up, guys? Quick Fyre.
It got pushed back a month, by the way. When were these posted? That was...
What's up, guys? Quick Fyre update.
26 weeks ago. So, about half a year.
What's up, guys? Quick Fyre update. $2 million tickets are live and for...
Does he film these while he's walking to make it seem like he's more productive than he actually is? Because he's very much doing the Aaron Sorkin or like Dr. House walk and talk. Makes it feel like you're important because you need to, like, I'm so busy I can't even just walk around. I need to be filming things. It's not real. He doesn't need to do this. He might have just walked outside his apartment to do this and walked right back in and sat his ass down and watched Netflix. Who knows?
For sale right now on our website. This is the first public Fyre ticket sale. This is our pre-sale last August, which sold out in 24 hours. Since we secured the dates and the locations last week, we've been working hard to put together what I think is the best festival lineup of all time, and I'll be sharing it first with our two previous pass holders. Link in bio. What's up, guys? Quick Fyre. Hey guys, quick Fyre update. I just left a meeting with my partners, and we've assembled the dream team to build Fyre 2. I'm about to send them all to live on the island for the next 6 months. But before we do, we definitely need a new Fyre duck. Comment.
That sounds like a threat. I've sent them to live on the island for 6 months.
Your best idea.
Whichever returns shall be my protege.
For a title, and I'll pick a winner to come to Fyre 2 for free. Hey guys.
Oh boy. That's just a phone number that I assume is marketing, if you call it.
Hey, what's up, guys? I have a Fyre update. The team is on the island, and it is safe to say things are already looking better than Fyre 1.
I'd be impressed if they looked worse.
Unfortunately, luxury palapas have replaced the white FEMA tents. So I've been getting a lot of questions about the ticket packages. Let's start from the top with Prometheus. Prometheus literally stole fire from the gods and shared it with civilization.
Thanks. The Prometheus package is the $1.1 million package.
For those of you who believe that life is meant to be lived, the Fyre Prometheus Pass takes you pretty damn close.
For those of you that believe life is meant to be lived, what the fuck does that mean? You just say you want my money. Stop. Just say, just put a gun in my face and tell me to give you my money. Stop insulting me. For those who think life is meant to be lived, I would rather be robbed at knife point. Unironically. This is such horseshit. The level of disrespect these salespeople have for other human beings.
To the sun. The Prometheus Pass comes with 8 tickets. Your entire group will be flown to the island privately, and you'll have your own yacht in the artist marina. But most importantly, the Prometheus Pass gives you access to everything that will make Fyre the most memorable weekend of your entire life. You and the artists will be bouncing around on seaplanes to neighboring islands, catching lobster, and coming together at night for intimate performances on your yacht, in remote cenotes, and even at this underwater bar.
Like, this is not, you could not have a sustainable music festival where people are fucking going from island to island with your seaplanes, and like people have this little like society together, man. They're like catching lobsters. This is not how things work. He has not thought for a second how any of this would work practically. He's one of these tech bro assholes that thinks all you need are big ideas and to just be mean enough to people you employ and they'll make it happen. It's absurd. Penikagami with 40 bits says, speaking of, the Trump people are entertaining their sit down, shut up, and say thank you phase. I think they're getting tired of having to justify Trump and Elon's bullshit. By the way, slightly hilarious, Trump's EPA defines climate change now as a natural phenomenon that is the byproduct of building the modern world. They're admitting now it's an anthropogenic, but shut up and stop complaining about it. Oh, I hate the world. Please stop talking to me about Trump. Lennon Cat says, the Prometheus passed because you too will wish you were having eagles eating your liver every day based on the events of the last one. That's Prometheus's punishment from Zeus, for those that don't know. Hecked out. It regrows.
Good morning, guys. I have the biggest Fyre update. The first Prometheus pass just sold.
I just don't believe it. I just don't. I don't think someone bought that. Maybe I'm the asshole. Maybe I'm the asshole for not believing there's someone stupid and rich enough to buy that. After everything I've seen, do I really not believe that? I don't know. I want to say no. I have enough hope. I'm going to say I think he's lying. He wants people to believe someone bought the $1 million ticket so people can go, well, I can buy the $1,000 ticket.
If it wasn't for you guys, if it wasn't for all the ticket buyers, if it wasn't for the friends and families who innocently endure for the mistakes of their loved ones, we wouldn't have these second chances. My team wouldn't be here giving me the opportunity to build my dream as a means to spread Fyre around the world and to pay people back. I have a friend who's currently serving a 28-year prison sentence. And every single day
Did you meet him while you were serving your 6-year prison sentence?
we were together, no matter how tough things got, he would brag to me about how much of a saint his mother was and how hard she fights every day to take care of 5 kids. So starting today, 1% of all the Fyre...
I mean, how good could she have done? One of her kids is in prison for 26 years.
Ticket sales are going directly to the family and friends of incarcerated people. We're starting with my friend's mom. We're going to make sure her 5 kids have every single thing they need for school. Thank you guys, and let's go Fyre, and let's go Prometheus. Good morning, guys.
What the fuck is he talking about? Okay, here's a little press release thing he put out. Fyre for immediate release. This is from February 24th, so a little under a month ago. May 30th through June 2nd, 2025. Play of Fyre, Isla Mujeres, Mexico. Tickets on sale now, fyre.mx. Fyre 2 is a 3-day escape to the Mexican Caribbean where you'll explore by day alongside your favorite talent and come together at night to celebrate with music. Fyre 2 is produced by Lost Nights, a premier live event producer with nearly 20 years of experience in crafting extraordinary one-of-a-kind experiences in remote and unique locations. Fyre 2 is supported by some of the Mexican Caribbean's finest hospitality providers, delivering world-class accommodations and unforgettable experiences. Fyre 2 will have adventures led by international and local talent, taking guests on boundary-pushing excursions by day and uniting for intimate beachside performances by night. Fyre 2 is working with SoldOut.com and Friendly Sky to provide tickets and hospitality packages to its guests that rewrite the festival playbook, helping Fyre attendees create core memories and life-changing relationships. I'm sure many people think I'm crazy for doing this again, but I feel I'd be crazy not to do it again. After years of reflection and now thoughtful planning, the new team and I have amazing plans for Fyre 2. The adventure seekers who trust the vision and take the leap will help make history. Thank you to my partners for the second chance, said Billy McFarlane. Penikagami says, I will say I do miss the days when scam artists, layers, put more effort into trying to selling us their bullshit. The fact that they don't even try anymore makes me feel like you're being gaslighted. Here's the thing. Scamming used to be more regional or local, so they had to hit maybe the bottom 25% of the population in the area, you know, in terms of gullibility. These days, with the internet, they have access to so many potential people. They don't have to hit the bottom 20% most gullible. there's enough people they have access to that they can just market to the bottom 1% most gullible people. And if they get enough reach, they'll get people scammed and make money. Jade Monkey with a Black's Law Dictionary request, and Phoenix with a hats off. Wolf ears? Okay, and what for the Black's Law? Black's Law earlier. Fraud? Did I not do fraud? You said earlier, actually, and a hydrate. Sorry, I didn't do it.
Good evening, everybody. I have a really important Fyre update. Last week, I did an interview in the Today Show, and since then, the story has been shared, retold, twisted, and covered by journalists from all over the world. I figured it would be best to hear directly from me what's actually happening. First, Fyre 2 is real.
Again, if you have to lead with that, probably not awesome, the thought.
Second, we have incredible partners leading the festival. They're in charge of all the logistics, productions, and operations. This includes
It's Isla Mujeres, Woman Island. Thank you.
Incredible.
I'm bad at pronunciation.
Production team in Mexico who does not F around. There is no way they would ever take on a fake festival. 3, we have a...
To be clear, there might be acts, there might be a festival, but it's not going to be what you're describing with the plane hopping and all like the utopian weird bullshit. It's just going to be a moderate music festival, probably, if it happens, and it won't have big acts. It'll probably be regional acts.
Accommodations. Naturally, this was a huge point of emphasis given the issues surrounding Fyre 1. Our accommodations...
I like the vagueness of the issues when the issue was he was a scam artist who didn't do his job. He lied to people. We're getting there. We're getting closer to fraud. Fraud, an intentional perversion of truth for the purpose of inducing another in reliance upon it to part with some valuable thing belonging to him or to surrender a legal right. A false representation of a matter of fact, whether by words or conduct, by false or misleading allegations, or by concealment of that which should have been disclosed, which deceives and is intended to deceive another, so that he shall act upon it to his legal injury. He did it.
Include contracts for the number of villas, yachts, and hotels. This also includes 2 hotels who were contacted by the media and in response gave misleading statements saying they never heard of Fyre and they aren't working with us. After hearing this, I asked my team to terminate those contracts.
They were real contracts, for sure. They were real.
And to focus on the hotels and other partners who are eager to work with and support Fyre. 4, we have talent. Artists, athletes.
You have talent. Can we see them? No.
Athletes and other performers are on board and scheduled for Fyre 2. 5, restitution is being paid. Since being released 30 months ago, I've made 40 payments to restitution.
You're legally required to. I want to be clear. That's great that you're paying your restitution payments to the victims of your previous fraud. But let's be clear on this. You are required to make those payments by law. So, like, that's a bare minimum. just a thought. Peeplord says, since embraced the worm is truth, I've been thinking about starting a Patriots Prosperity Fund site that'll reinstate and boost government programs like farm subsidies for Trump voters. Depending on the program they're applying for, all I need is personal info to a small reoccurring fee or some other ownership share for presidential prosperity. I told my therapist and she said she's glad I have no follow-through. Did I show stream the little Blockbuster sign? I didn't. Look at the little Blockbuster sign. It's cute. Comes from a Blockbuster board game. Cute little sign to go on my shelf.
I've also made it my mission to do more than legally required. Part of this has been giving a large percentage of Fyre 2's budget and profits directly to restitution.
What does he mean, a large portion of the budget to restitution? The budget for the festival should be the budget to run the festival? If you're getting investment from, like, venture capitalists into your business, and then you're paying your legal obligations to people you defrauded, and you're paying them with the budget for the festival, is that not fraud? Is that not fraud? Feels, yeah, H. Baird, feels Ponzi scheme-ish, which he was, like, already in trouble for. That's, like, kind of stuff he was in trouble for previously, was getting money for new stuff to pay for old stuff. If you've seen the documentaries about this, you know he got in trouble for stuff like this. So is he just doing it again and he doesn't understand it's fraud? Like, does he not understand you're not allowed to do that? Or you're not supposed to do that? Like, it's not really the budget for the festival if it's not going towards this festival. You're paying for the old fraud festival.
6. My partners and I have remained in communication with local and state government to ensure full compliance.
But they came out and said, no, you didn't. We read that article from People that said the local government said that you hadn't talked to them at all and they had no idea what you were talking about.
And a successful event that benefits the local economy, shares the beauty of the Mexican Caribbean with the world, and helps make right for all of the wrongs. 7. Fyre 2 is moving forward, and we are moving forward with full integrity.
What does that mean? He said it. They have integrity. So that means they have that because he said it.
From now on, updates will come directly from me. I look forward to continuing to work with my great partners to bring the vision of Fyre to life and to help make right for all of the wrongs. If anybody wants to join us and help us make history and help show the truth of the vision and the intentions, please DM me. I'm here day and night. Thank you very much, and I look forward to sharing this with the world. Good evening.
Oh, Billy. I am so curious what's gonna happen if this is just bullshit again. Like, certainly he can't just get away with it, right?
Brands, I will make you go viral in 30 days. And if I don't, you won't pay a cent. How could I possibly do this? My name is Billy McFarland.
He is the man behind the infamous Fyre Festival.
He was the star of 2 very popular documentaries.
And I've created a system that I've used to launch some of the most successful...
That would be like calling John Wayne Gacy the star of several documentaries. Like, what was he in the documentary for? You're making it sound like it's impressive. They weren't documentaries about what a great guy you are.
Successful social media campaigns. You probably remember the orange tile, the 90s card, or when I sold out of...
The orange tile wasn't even his idea. I think that was the marketing firm Fuck Jerry. That's the name of the marketing firm that he was working with at the time. He's acting like he came up with the orange square idea. That wasn't him. That was a marketing firm he was working with at the time.
Tickets in 24 hours with a single selfie video. Just last week, I created a moment that was seen by over 75 million people in 24 hours.
He created a moment. I hate these people.
My campaigns have literally been talked about everywhere. And now I'm helping other brands accomplish the same things. Our proven system brings together the most effective talent to drive PR, awareness, and sales for your brand. With our system, you have full control over your audience and reach. If this sounds like something you may be interested in, click the button below to book a call with my team.
Jesus Christ.
What's up, guys? Quick Fyre update. $2 million tickets are live and for sale.
We did that one, I think.
Hey guys, quick Fyre update. I just left a meeting with my partners, and we've
Okay. Should we check out the website? Is it time to check out the Fyre Festival 2 website? Ooh, he posted a comeback video.
New details that we're learning this morning about that epic Fyre music festival.
With the man behind the infamous Fyre Festival.
It's been called the biggest fraud in music festival history.
I believe you should have a chance, but I believe that if we have a society where people don't get a second chance, that is a worse society. I hope we can sit here someday, 5 years from now.
No one is saying that Billy should sit in jail forever. I think what they're saying is maybe he should get like a normal job instead of trying to scam people for a living because that's wrong. It's not people saying he should be shunned from society. It's more so he should not be given power or responsibility until such a time that he is proven that he is responsible to have those things. You know? H-Bird says, forget Fyre Festival 2. We need DashCon 2. Everyone gets 15 minutes in the ball pit. Okay, check it out. DashCon 2, 2 ball pits, 1 for peeing in, 1 for pooping in. That's how we change the game. Okay?
Now, 10 years from now, and talk about the success, what you've
We're
built,
disrupting the conference market.
how you've done it, and share all of those insights and lessons.
I don't want to see you fail. I want to see you succeed and like prove people wrong, and I want to prove that like second chances could work. Like, I'm very eager to see how you pull this off, and frankly, I want you to pull it off. You know,
Tech bros are insufferable douchebags who truly never think anyone in their own group has ever done anything wrong, as long as they vaguely gesture that they had good intentions. Oh, you scammed thousands of people? Oh, I'm sure you had good intentions, though. Fucking hate these clowns.
I want redemption to be real, and I want it to work. Everyone deserves a second chance.
You needed to make these mistakes to learn from them, and that like knowledge that
you know, most people don't need to actually defraud people of tens of millions of dollars to learn that that's a bad thing to do. Most people just know that, you know?
you have now is so priceless.
You got to do it just to like show that you can do it.
You do have to do a festival, honestly, point two.
You got
2.0,
to.
because like
Yeah,
there's
you
already
have
so
to.
much built up behind it.
I'm going. If there's a
Hey,
festival,
straight
I'm
up,
there.
I'm going, dude.
You're like this generation's Robert Downey Jr. You clearly know how to.
What the fuck does that mean? Oh, like a comeback story? Robert Downey Jr. has talent. He's a talented actor. He had drug problems. He didn't scam people for millions of dollars.
To sell and market.
I mean, to be honest, I think the Fyre Festival comments things and that's just never gonna go away until you do the next festival.
Never.
And you fucking nail it. But if you bang the next one, then it's like then they'll finally shut the fuck up. You know, prove them wrong this time.
Hope Pirate becomes a huge success. And even the way that you're marketing Pirate, you're embracing what's happened.
I can't promise that Pirate is going to be worth anything one day. I can't promise it'll work or not work, but I can promise I'm going to try.
You know, like
And as
now
long as you're
you
owning
know.
it and you know, like you're doing the right thing. Like I'm proud of you.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
We're proud of you, Billy. Billy, we're so proud of you for getting out of prison early, 3.5 years into your 6-year prison sentence for felony fraud, for stealing millions of dollars from people. We're so proud. These people live in another fucking reality. Ugh. Just...
And only 30 years old.
You're open. I made a huge mistake, paid my price with my time, and now I just want to come back and pay everybody back.
This is not the end of Billy.
This is where he actually announced Fyre Festival 2. This was a year ago.
What's up, guys? This is a big day because as of right now, Fyre Festival 2 tickets are officially on sale. It has been the absolute wildest journey to get here, and it really all started during the 7th-month stint in South.
Wealth breaks brains. That actually horrifies me. Like, let's say human beings ever actually got our shit together, and let's say in some sort of hypothetical post-scarcity society, is every human being alive gonna turn into this pudding-brained, selfish Nepo baby archetype? Like, if no one faces any, like, struggles, and I'm not saying, I know, it's terrible when people are like, oh, you needed to go through that struggle, blah, 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 blah. I know. But, like, genuinely, if we were, like, in a utopian Star Trek society, are people not gonna turn into idiots? Because a lot of people, we like this idea of, like, oh, people will do art, and people will do People will better themselves. Wealthy people have that ability today, and a lot of them don't do that. They just fuck over other people's shit or whatever. So I think the idea that if we just gave everyone resources, it would be great. I think that would be great, but I think it would cause new problems.
Military confinement. I wrote out this 50-page plan of how it would take this overall interest and demand in Fyre, and how it would take my ability to bring people from around the world together.
Wealth inequality is part of that factor. I know, that's what I'm saying. If no one needs for anything, a certain percentage of people are probably just gonna not give a shit about anything. Like, it's better than people starving, but it is kind of depressing.
To make the impossible happen, but how would find the best partners in the world to allow me to be me while executing Fyre's vision to the highest level. In my first year, I partnered with one of the biggest and best TV companies in the world to produce a documentary called...
Hbeard says a good model might be game modding communities. A few talented people will do amazing things with their time and resources. Most will just consume, and some will be douches about everything that creative people do.
After the Fyre. I've also worked with one of the biggest production companies to sign a deal to produce Fyre Festival, the Broadway musical. And finally, today, we are announcing Fyre Festival 2. We spoke to people as far away as the middle...
Post-scarcity means people can just be. Yeah, but like what I'm saying is I think we have a pretty benevolent view of human nature that assumes that, oh, if everyone just had at least what they needed, people would improve. And I don't know if that's true of everyone. I'm just saying, what if we did where everyone could just be and some people just get worse? You know? What if our assumptions about human behavior and thinking, well, if everyone just had what they wanted, people would be good, right? What if we're not? I'm just being pretentious now. Sorry. Hbeard, thanks for gifting a sub.
Middle East and South America, and ultimately we decided that Fyre Festival 2 is coming back to the Caribbean.
Human nature is benevolent, the human nature is greed, is capitalist propaganda. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not going to say human nature is greed, but I'm not going to say human nature is benevolent. I think that's a pretty absurd thing to say, given gestures broadly at all of human history.
We are targeting Fyre Festival 2 for the end
Humans just want to hang out with their friends and loved ones. I would argue most humans just want to hang out with their friends and loved ones. Clearly, there is a subset of humanity that does not feel that way. If everyone just naturally was like that, we wouldn't have as many problems. Sorry, anyway, Jay's a Proxy says the University of Denver is in conjunction with the city did a UBI program study and most people felt better and a lot used the money for housing and getting employed. I understand, and that's a good thing. I am not against these things. I am in favor of UBI. This is not what I'm talking about. Material, like, condition is important, and it's the most important thing. It's on the bottom of that Maslow's hierarchy of needs for a reason. I'm just saying beyond that, I'm talking about moral development and character beyond that. I'm not saying people need to suffer, far from it. I don't want anyone to suffer. I want everyone to have food and shelter and everything they need. I just worry that some people might morally stagnate, similar to the wealthy in a situation where, like, they could just sit around all day, and it's not bad to sit around all day. I'm not, like, attached to some, like, puritanical need to be busy for no reason. I just worry that people will brain rot themselves.
Next year, and in the meantime, we'll be doing pop-ups and events across the world. Guys, this is your chance to get in. This is everything I've been working towards. Let's fucking go.
Okay, let's look at his terrible website. Freyline says, I think one of the issues with post-scarcity is that we get it, and that's it. It's something we're going to fight to keep. There will always be assholes that'll want to fight against it, right? Like, look at the UK and the NHS, and how even though they've had universal health care since basically the end of World War II, right after it at least, there are still people who have worked to cut funding and basically are trying to get rid of it. You will never have a situation, I don't think, where you're going to have everyone on board. You would always have some selfish asshole trying to corrupt a system, even if it worked out for most people. Sorry, I missed a tip. Just a Peach says, there are still villains in Star Trek. They are these, rich people, yeah. And admirals. Always the admirals. Okay, anyway, sorry about my tangent. Let's get on to the Fyre Festival website. This is the website for Fyre Festival 2. It's flashy. It's like 2017 flashy, if you know what I mean. It's got too many interactive bits. See, when I move my cursor, it kind of changes the little logo here. It's trying very hard to be like, ooh, look at all the things on our website. All right, let's take a look at the different passes, shall we? Ignite, general access. First step to the extraordinary. This one is $1,400 US for the most basic ticket. $1,400. Oh my god, it makes you scroll all the way down to the bottom is the lowest price. That's funny. Okay, so for $1,400, access to the festival grounds on Isla Mujeres and the water stage. Transportation will be provided on Isla Mujeres from our preferred hotel locations and other gathering points on provided shuttle service. The Fyre Ignite package grants 4-day access to Fyre Festival 2. Explore, embrace the unknown, and defy the impossible alongside some of the most fascinating people in the world. Then come together at night to celebrate. There's no other event like this. These options are a la carte and must be purchased as add-ons. The Fyre experiences will be released in a number of experiential drops leading up to the festival. Commercial flights are readily available in and out of Cancun International Airport. Private flights are also available in and out of Assure FBO at Cancun International Airport. The Fyre Concierge is available to assist with private flights from around the globe, in case you would like private flights. Mujeres, I'm sorry, I'm so bad at it. I didn't want, to be clear, with the thing I was talking about earlier, we would still be in a better situation with people's material needs met. I'm just saying a lot of people imagine that as like an end point when it would just cause other problems that we would then have to deal with. It would still be better problems than we're dealing with now. Didn't mean to start a whole thing. Sorry. Green guy with a $3 tip says, "Hey Hannah, I'm not watching, but my wife is. I could care less." Thanks for the tip. Okay, so let's see what the next highest tier gets you. This is the Fuego bundle. This is VIP access. This is $5,000. This includes VIP access to the festival grounds, front row viewing of the water stage, close viewing of the fight pit. Transportation will be provided on Isla Mujeres from our preferred hotel locations and other gathering points. Then it has the same information on the other parts, and then the $25,000 package. This is artist access. This is a $25,000 ticket. And I believe this is one where you actually get to, like, stay in the same area as the artists. At least that's what they claim, I think. Which seems like a bad idea. Fenekagami says, "Here's the thing, Hannah. Rich people are this way partially because they exist in capitalism and a system of oppression that teaches them they're better than everyone else and that money is the most important thing. In post-scarcity world with less or no oppression, there are less societal forces that mold people this way, although some will always exist because that's how humans be." But why would you assume that? I don't understand why you would assume that the social pressures... It's entirely possible that we would end up in a situation where things are artificially scarce. Many things are artificially scarce today, or where people are still within a social system that is backwards compared to the resources they have available to them. Why am I talking about this? It's all hypothetical. I sound like such a pretentious asshole. I have nothing educated to say about the topic. Why'd I even bring it up? Okay. And then finally, of course, we have the $1,100,000 package. Access to the festival grounds, on-stage access to the water stage. You get to go up on stage. Fight team access at the fight pit. A curated itinerary of Fyre experiences, 24/7 private chauffeur services, dedicated on-site concierge, and access to the Prometheus Marina. Ooh, there's a marina. I think they're claiming that people are going to get their own yachts. Yeah, you'll have, with the $1 million one, an option of a 4-stateroom yacht or a luxurious 4-bedroom villa with immediate proximity and access to Play of Fyre and the festival grounds for 3 nights. Jesus Christ. Should we buy the $1 million one? I think that'd be good. All right. I don't know if there's anything else on the website before we get into some other interviews. Yeah. Soldout.com. It doesn't tell you. Oh no! You can. You can use Affirm, which is a loan service, to get tickets. Please don't use loan services to buy tickets to music festivals, especially ones that probably aren't going to happen. Don't do this to yourself. One sec. The website is flashier than it needs to be. This could really be just a list of stuff, but he loves his motion graphics. Anyway.
Behind the infamous Fyre.
Do this one.
Start for the planned Fyre Festival reboot. Officials on the small going to turn to the rocky start for the planned Fyre Festival reboot. Officials on the small Mexican island where the event is supposed to take place are casting doubt, saying no one is contacting them about it. Now creator Billy McFarland is firing back, and Will Reed is back with more on that. Good morning again, Will.
Hello again, everyone. Just as a reminder, Billy McFarland spent 4 years in prison for scamming people.
Is the entire thing on the water, the coordinates they give are offshore? Yes, I didn't bring that up, but I saw someone else bring that up in another video someone did about this. There are coordinates on the Fyre Festival website, but if you put them in, it goes to the middle of the ocean. I think they just wanted to put coordinates because they thought it would look cool.
Fyre Festival was such a colossal disaster that it has become short.
Nerdy says there's as much chance of that $1 million ticket being sold as there was of the $1 million Saints Row limited edition. At least I hope so, for whatever faith I have in the human race left. He claims someone bought it, but I'm pretty sus of that claim. I guess we'll see.
And 4 colossal disasters. So who wants to try again? Billy McFarland does. He says Fyre Festival 2 is coming to an island in Mexico a couple months from now. Officials there say they don't really know what he's talking about.
It began as one of the most anticipated music festivals of the 21st century, with VIP packages going for $12,000 and promising an event for the ages. But then reality hit.
We had no electricity, there was no showers, there was no bathrooms, there was no running water.
The promised musical acts like Blink-182 failed to materialize.
It was about $4,000. What we actually got was probably worth closer to, I'd say, $0.
And instead of the deluxe accommodations promised, concertgoers found themselves housed in Red Cross tents, surviving
I thought they were FEMA tents.
On cheese sandwiches.
I am stranded in the Bahamas amidst hundreds of other extremely unlucky festival goers.
Billy McFarland, the host and organizer of Fyre Festival, later sentenced to 6 years in prison for pocketing the proceeds, now says he and his infamous festival are back.
I figured it would be best to hear directly from me what's actually happening. First, Fyre 2 is real. Second, we have incredible partners leading the festival. This includes an incredible production team in Mexico.
But that's news to the small Mexican island of Isla Mujeres off the coast of Cancun.
Mujeres. I gotta get it in my mouth.
Farland says the festival...
Am I members only streaming today? Yes. After this regular stream, which is probably going to be a bit shorter than a normal stream, we are going to do a movie, Patreon and member only.
...is supposed to take place. Edgar Gasca, the tourism director of the island, telling The Guardian this is an event that does not exist, adding, It's very strange because any manager knows if you're going to hold an event, let alone a massive event, you need municipal authorization. Tickets for Fyre Fest 2 are allegedly selling from $1,400 to $1 million. No talent has been announced yet, but according to McFarland, he's booked a star-studded lineup. He also claims to have pre-booked a number of accommodations.
Villas, yachts, and hotels.
In 2022, shortly after his release from prison, McFarland sat down with R. Michael Strahan, where he admitted to lying to concertgoers and stealing the money. But he says he just got caught up on a terrible path of bad decisions.
Still on it. He's still on it happily, taking people's money.
So are you truly a changed man, or is this just a spin?
I hope I continue to change for the next 40 years. So I'm certainly not done changing yet.
And the festival is supposed to take place the last week of May. A note of fair warning, McFarland announced Fyre Festival 2 back in August of 2023, saying it would take place in December of 2024. That didn't happen, so we will see if anything changes this time around, guys.
You going?
If there are tickets and there's an actual festival, sign me up. I don't know why I just said that. But
we can send you to
it's on video now. No getting out of it now.
Let's do... This is an interview he did 7 months ago. Check this out.
Miss Fyre Festival. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Thanks for
I think I actually have this in sections. Let's see what sections we want to take a look at instead of having to go through the whole thing.
Okay, so then in 2022,
Yep.
age 31, you get released from prison after serving 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the feds was 85% or...
So you get 85% of, you get 15 up to 15% off for what's called good time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I got like 10 months of good time-ish off the 6 years, right?
He was a good boy!
I lost 1 month and then got the, for punishment. And then Donald Trump passed the First Step Act, which, while I was in jail, which gave first-time nonviolent offenders a year off. I was literally woken up from my cell 2 months before I left jail, thinking I had another, year and some change left. And like, McFarland, your date changed, you got a year off. And like, whole world was turned upside down.
Yeah, sure, it was a great
I had no
day.
idea what was coming. Like, we'd follow the news every day about the First Step Act. We all thought it was bullshit. And then like, all of a sudden your name is called and it's real. So that was a surreal moment.
Okay, so then you walk out of prison after 4 years. How did that first day feel? Because you went into a halfway house, I guess?
I went to a halfway, so I was in a jail in Michigan, outside of
God damn it, why is it always Michigan?
Detroit. I went to a halfway house in Brooklyn. So, yeah, I took the long drive from Detroit to Brooklyn, and
that is a long drive.
It's kind of a long drive, right? And it was definitely a surreal feeling. I just remember the moments like walking into the halfway house, like, how am I turning myself back into jail? Like after all this experience.
Well, it's better than the other jail, I'm sure.
Ultimately, the halfway house was totally fine, and like there was nothing. I think they were professional, smooth. I had zero complaints, but yeah, it was definitely a fucking mind blowing experience.
Okay, and how long were you in the halfway house before you get fully freed?
I was in the halfway house for 4 or 5 months.
Okay. And you had to, get a job and stuff like that?
Yeah, I had to get a job, yeah.
What was your job in the halfway house?
I'm not going to say his name, but a very big music artist hired me to help work for him. So super nice guy.
Was it Ja Rule? He's still friends with Ja.
Probably not Ja Rule, though.
Not Ja Rule. No.
Oh, damn it.
Great dude. I called him from the car. I hadn't spoken to him in 6 years, whatever it was, 4 years, sorry. I called him from the car, driving from the jail to the halfway house. I'm like, hey, X, I just got out, I need a job. He goes, all right. He said, write yourself an offer letter and, show up tomorrow. So, great dude.
Write yourself an offer letter? Go fuck yourself. I hate these rich cunts. Goes to jail for 6 years was the sentence over fraud. And then your rich buddy, the day you get out of jail, lets you write your own offer letter. Holy fuck, I hate America. I just can't. Genuinely, human beings are the worst. I am officially a misanthrope. I'm starting today. Fuck human beings.
Okay, so they decide to start a new company called PYRT.
Yes.
Pronounced pirate.
Yes.
Which, of course, you know, I feel is almost like tongue-in-cheek reference to
a little bit
to the Fyre Festival and the Blackbeard and
of course,
Bahamas.
definitely Blackbeard. And so Pirate's basically my like creative marketing agency. Do marketing work for a handful of like venture-backed startup brands, working on some like little technology side projects through Pirate as well. So it's kind of like my creative pay the bills thing, while of course working on Fyre long term.
Okay, and you actually got a permit for a hotel in the Bahamas?
It feels like capitalism has bred a group of hyper scammers whose MO isn't necessarily to scam a bunch of smaller people. A big part of it feels like their job is scamming venture capitalists. Have you noticed this? It's like a class of scammer above the typical con artist whose job is basically just scamming millions of dollars from venture capitalists. Elon Musk is one of these types. Theranos CEO was one of these types. You know what I mean?
Quite. So
not quite.
Having a hotel in the Bahamas or somewhere else in the Caribbean is definitely a mission of mine for sooner rather than later, but it's in process.
Okay, and you're actually planning another music festival?
Yeah, we're doing Fyre 2.
You're doing Fyre 2?
We're doing Fyre 2. So
you're serious?
100% serious. The big difference this time is that there is a festival production company who's actually in charge. So there's like a 51% controller of Fyre 2. That's not me. They're going to do the logistics for it, and I'm doing the marketing. We're doing it at some point next year. They're actually doing their site visits starting like in 2 weeks in July. So we will have final date and location this summer. And yeah.
They say you've already sold tickets?
We did a pre-sale last summer.
Okay.
Sold out in like 28 hours.
How many tickets did you pre-sell?
Cool. Just 100.
Okay.
Then we put up, last winter we put up applications. We didn't collect any money for these. Put up applications for $1 million ticket. We've had over 100 real people, we like to say, apply for the $1 million ticket. So I'm not sure how many of those actually close when it comes down to it, but that was kind of surreal to see.
Okay, and you owe the IRS $6.8 million in back taxes?
Personally, yeah.
So how much do you owe total?
Good question. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I think that's the...
I mean, is it tough to kind of, work on businesses and make money knowing that a big chunk of it is going to go away?
So I think it was like it's harder and easier in different ways. I think when I first got out of jail, I expected the process to be nearly impossible. And I think it was actually fairly smooth, and the system actually worked the best that I'd seen it work to that point, right? Like it allowed
your friend gave you a blank check for a job the day you got out of prison. Of course it worked for you. You had rich friends.
It work. It allowed me to make back reasonable payments. I think as I've started to make more money, and the numbers aren't crazy at this point, but as I started to make more money, then it's become like nearly impossible, right? As soon as the money gets real, then people come out of the woodworks. Then the attorney fees go up, the accountant fees go up, the auditor fees go up, the law, everything starts getting more and more difficult. So ironically, like it's harder now that I'm making 10x what I was when I first walked out of the door. So it's like it's not easy. It sucks.
During his time in prison, McFarlane says he attempted to write a book using voice notes and creates a podcast using a prison phone. Everything this guy does is so predictable. Very much so. Like, ultimate example of the tech bro loser who thinks everything he says is profound. Terrible, terrible stuff.
At some point to fully pay back everybody.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. And like my argument to, my creditors.
We just need a rich friend and all of us will be set. I have an idea. What if we set up society as a rich friend, and if you were in trouble, we had some sort of societal net of safety where you wouldn't fall below that floor, so you could always, get the help you needed to get back up on your feet. That's probably crazy though, right? Too crazy.
If you will, is right. Like the best chance of this happening is to allow me to operate. So no matter like what you guys want today or tomorrow, it's in all of our best interest to allow me to work, right? And make.
And hey, if we make billionaires and millionaires pay taxes appropriately so we can have a social safety net, How are they going to bail out their felon scam artist friends like Billy when they get out of prison? Haven't we thought about these poor victims like Billy?
These plans feasible, so I can work for 7 years to pay people back. If I'm losing money by working, I'm still going to work, but like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Is
so,
he related to Seth MacFarlane? He looks like he could be. He does, doesn't he?
Trying to figure out the balance there.
Yeah, no, the legal system is a weird place.
I would have heard of that, right?
You know, I've had Instagram models post crazy false stuff about me, and I'm looking at it going like, I can't do anything with this. I can't sue her. She probably doesn't have a bank account.
You're gonna spend,
you know what I mean? So you're
spend $40,000 suing her.
Exactly.
And get
to get nothing in return because she doesn't have a bank account.
Their names are spelled differently, so they are not related. They do kind of have a little bit of a weird resemblance, though.
Yeah.
You know, and she makes cash off doing God knows what.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's a weird situation. So, yeah, I mean, if they want their money, but then I'm sure it's pretty hard to get venture capital at this point, considering your track record with venture capitalists.
Yeah, so my income now is two streams. It's one, marketing work, so I'm basically paid as a marketing consultant.
So service
yeah, like a
business.
service provider.
Yeah.
And then two is just off of like the Fyre, brand. So there's a Broadway musical being produced.
There's a musical being produced.
Are you fucking kidding me? People are giving him money for that shit.
I'm filming another documentary TV show.
Just call it the Water Festival with a Y in the musical, and we would get it. You don't need to give this asshole money to make fun of him in musical form.
Right? Like, I get paid to go on podcasts. I get paid for cameos and other TV shows. I'm not paid to be here.
It's paid to be on podcasts. That's sad.
To clarify, but like, get paid at least once a week to do a podcast cameo in some capacity. So yeah, it's like,
good.
It's not, not gonna buy the island right now, but it's enough to take to step in the right direction.
Well, Trump came to the Bronx recently.
Yeah.
And Chef G and Sleepy Hollow were on stage with him. And were you somehow involved in that?
Yeah, I think through Fyre, just I love bringing people together. And I thought the idea, and this was the first presidential rally in the Bronx since Reagan. And I thought the idea of like bringing drill music to a presidential rally would go crazy, and it did. So pretty cool moment.
So are you working with...
Assuming that's when he got a photo with Trump?
Trump?
Not working with Trump. I'm just always doing fun moments. I brought Kodak Black to his birthday party 2 weeks ago in Palm Beach. That was fun.
Like, you brought Kodak Black to Trump's birthday party?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago in Palm Beach. And then I brought out PZ, Icewear, Vezo, and Sada Babe in Detroit the day after that. Yeah, so it's cool. Just I think love making these moments, right? And it's like when different people come together,
Okay, you're behind all this stuff.
Yeah,
all right,
so
that's kind of cool, actually.
It's cool, right?
Yeah,
It's like cool
I'm
moments.
I'm gonna salute that. Yeah, no, I like that.
I love when Chef G and Sleepy Hollow were on stage in the Bronx, and Trump's like, "I love those girls." Like, how do I get those? I think that was like a historical, cultural moment. That was great.
Well, Billy, man, it's a hell of a story, and
him and Trump being connected doesn't shock you at all. I'm gonna imagine at a scam, like if you're a scammer of a certain level at this point, you at least have some sort of 3 degrees of separation from Trump.
Look, you made a lot
big network of scams.
Mistakes, but you took responsibility for all your mistakes. At no point in this interview did you paint yourself as a victim. And you did not point the finger at other people and, oh, it's really his fault and I was just, fooled or whatever else. You took responsibility. You did your jail time. You have to pay your restitution. And ultimately, you deserve another chance to see what you could do with the rest of your life.
He doesn't deserve a chance to ask people for millions of dollars. Is that really where our bar is? Really?
If you're still, a very, very young guy, you're 32 right now?
Yeah.
32. You have a long life ahead of you, and
motherfucker, I'm 31, and you're gonna act like, oh, he's just he's so young, he doesn't know what he's doing. Guess what, motherfucker? If I tried to defraud people, they wouldn't be saying, oh, she's just 31 years old. You're an adult. Take responsibility.
Makes mistakes, and people have turned their mistakes around. And, people have gone bankrupt, people have gone to prison, people have done, Michael Milken.
Yeah.
Look
what he's done.
Look, yeah, he's a billionaire
amazing.
again. Yeah,
Like,
you know what I'm saying? You see a
literally
lot of
trying
people.
to cure cancer. Like it's like
Billy's going to be president one day. You can see it now. No, next they're going to give Don Jr. 8 years, and then maybe they'll give Eric 4 pity years, and then they'll give Barron 8 years, and then Barron's son will get 8 years.
different level of
Exactly.
like,
Trump has filed
inspirational.
bankruptcy a bunch of times. Like a lot of bad stuff has happened to people who ultimately became successful. So I'm glad that you're still pushing along. You know, you don't have to do interviews like this. You know what I'm saying? Or you could do an interview and say, well, I don't want to talk about the Fyre Festival.
Yeah.
No, you came in, there was nothing off limits. You know, clearly there's certain things you can't talk about legally, and that's fine. But, you know, I respect you coming in here, man, and honestly, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Vlad. And for Fyre Festival too, I will not avoid your calls the week before. So.
Okay. I'm like, Ja Rule, listen, Ja Rule helped me.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I had gone out to Miami and flown out there with a cheese sandwich,
you would not be sitting here with me right
no,
now.
I would not. It'd be a very different interview.
Jesus Christ.
Right, because you have to.
Do I think Trump would hand the reins to his kids? No, but he's a mortal being that will die eventually, and his children, as well as the political apparatus that exists around them, is going to want to use them to continue to keep Trump's base cohesive as a political entity. Like, I really think, in terms of Republican strategy moving forward, Trump's gonna die. Like, eventually. That's life, you know? And once he does, it'll be a mad scramble for power in the Republican Party, which would be bad and would make their base, which is now mostly MAGA people, fuck off. It would make them get in different directions and get all sectarian about who they think the follow-up to Trump should be. So what the apparatus politically could do is to really, really push forward Trump's kids and grandkids as, yeah, the dynasty of the party to keep that MAGA base cohesive under one tent. And it would be beneficial to the kids, too, because, you know, power, etc., influence.
Pay back $26 million.
Yeah.
How did that sit on you? Because that's essentially, for most human beings, if they're lucky.
Why didn't it work for Reagan or Bush? I'm not even saying it'll work for Trump. I'm just saying I think that's the strategy they'll probably use, because the alternative is infighting, which will make things less cohesive much more quickly. I'm not saying it'll be successful. I'm just saying I think that's the move they'll do.
Way more than their lifetime earnings.
Sure.
Knowing that, I mean, how do these things work? I mean, they can't take all your money. They have to leave us something for you to live off of.
So I pay the way it works is fairly straightforward. I pay a percentage of my income every month to restitution. So
you genuinely don't think the
percentages?
kiddos have the juice for it, though? I think almost no one does. Trump has such a weird mix of anti-charisma. Like, he just is like a brazen asshole and talks like an 80s movie villain. Like, I really think that's hard to replicate, and I don't know if anyone can. Like, I really think they got a weird, once-in-a-lifetime cultural moment with Trump. And I'm sure they'll try to recreate it, but I'm hoping they won't be able to. Because it's such a specific variety of cultural factors that culminated in him. You couldn't replicate it if you tried. Did I see they're actually trying to legitimize it as a mental illness? The Trump derangement syndrome thing? Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. That's a political move to get headlines, which is working. Thought.
I can't say.
Fair enough.
You know, it's significant. It's
significant.
It's a burden, and and it goes up based on different kinds of earnings. So if I have to travel to earn it, it basically becomes almost all of it. If I'm earning in here, it's not as much as that. It's like there's nuances to it, so it's not like just always a flat percentage. But it's a huge burden. It's significant, and ironically, it's also expensive, right? Because to pay. I'm basically doing the accounting of a public company for my personal finances, right? I have to pay accountants and auditors to verify what my income is, and so it's expensive just to have the right to pay the restitution. So it's a burden in more ways than I initially thought it would be.
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe you shouldn't defraud people then. That's crazy.
I mean,
it's part of the punishment. Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be punishment.
Yeah, not complaining, but I'm saying it's a burden in more ways than just the money.
Well, and a lot of the influencers, like the Kendall Jenners and the Bella Hadids, they had to speak out about the whole thing. And
Yeah. I think the one thing that really pissed me off during this whole process, and like once again, I'm clearly the worst actor here, is one of the Fyre subsidiaries was forced into bankruptcy, and that bankruptcy sued some people to get money back. And I think they sued people who actually did work, right? And they didn't sue other people who didn't work. So I think they sued the wrong people. So I'm sitting in jail, like seeing on TMZ every 6 weeks, oh, Kendall Jenner sued, this person sued. I'm like, why are you paying the suing the people who actually did their work? And I think they clawed back like 1.2 million, and they kept 1.18 of it for legal fees. So basically, it's like
so the lawyers got paid.
So the lawyers got paid, and no one else got paid. Like that pissed me off. It's like that's not how it's supposed to work, and like that's.
Oh, fuck off about how it's supposed to work. What world does he think he gets to morally grandstand about where money's going? Oh.
And you're facing 40 years.
Yeah.
You're, what, 26 yeyears old?
25, 26, yeah.
25, 26 years old. They're essentially telling you you're going to get out when you're a senior citizen.
Yeah.
What does that do to a 25-year-old's head?
I couldn't fathom even like, I think before the ticket thing came, my lawyers were like, listen, Billy, you're going to jail and you're probably going to do 2 years. Like the charges like carry a maximum of long periods of time. I think they're always like using that in the press. Like my lawyer's like, you're probably going to do 2 years in jail. And I heard that 2 years, I almost like fainted at that meeting. And I think at that point in my life, I was literally living by the hour, and particularly in this like lead up to Fyre Festival. It's like, will I have enough money by 2 o'clock to stay afloat? And now somebody tells me 2 years, like I couldn't fathom that much time. And I just got so scared. And ultimately I was sentenced to 6 years, 3x that.
In his late 20s, he can't fathom the concept of 2 years?
Largely because of the tickets. But yeah, I think like that meeting with my lawyers, remember in their office, like, hey, you have to call your family, you have to call your friends, you're going to jail. And like, I'm like, what? Like, are you guys serious? Like, there's nothing we can do? And like, yeah, there's nothing we can do.
Right, because this is a federal case?
Federal case, yeah.
Right. 95% conviction rate?
How long do I think Billy should have been in prison for? Probably a decade. I think 10 years is appropriate for what he did.
I mean, Ja Rule beat him.
At minimum, he should have served the entirety of the 6-year sentence. I know that's not necessarily how it works. You do like 85% or whatever most of the time. But I think he should have gotten whatever sentence made him actually sit in jail for at least 6 years. 10 would be my pick.
But that was also...
I was guilty as hell. Like,
you were guilty.
Yeah, there's no, like... You couldn't even fight it. I gave fake numbers. Like, there was, like...
Right.
There's no defense to that. I was guilty.
Well, right, because when you plead guilty, you don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You could still get your 40 years.
Yeah.
So when you heard the 6 years, was it a sigh of relief or was it worse than you thought?
No, I thought I was going to get, like, just like, I can be honest now, I thought I was going to get 4 after the fact. Like, all right, you're going to get 2 before. Now I think they're going to double it. You're going to get 4. So I thought I was going to get 4. And then I heard the 6. I'm like, fuck. Like, I started doing the math. Like, now I'm 26. I'm 32. Like, I have a cousin who's 32. They're so much older than me. Like, you start, like, breaking it down to, like, basic human, like, you know, relationships and thoughts. And that fucking scared the hell out of me.
Okay, so now you go to prison.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, your first day of jail, they gave you a cheese sandwich.
They did.
Was that on purpose?
On purpose.
What did you think when you saw the cheese sandwich?
I thought it was a joke. I'm like, can I actually get the hamburger? They're like, nah, no, you're sticking with the cheese sandwich. I'm like,
I promise you the prison did not make it a cheese sandwich specifically for you.
No, but really, can I get the hamburger? They're like, no.
Makes a podcast story, though.
You're sticking with the cheese sandwich. It took like 10 minutes for me to realize, like, it's not a joke. I'm like, oh, understood.
You gotta hand it to him. At least they have a sense of humor.
It was
about
funny.
it.
It was good.
I'm sure at the time it wasn't funny, but now it's funny.
I ended up becoming close to the guy who actually who
gave the cheese sandwich.
Gave me the cheese sandwich, but he was a nice guy. But yeah, it was like I literally thought they were joking for like 10, 15 minutes. Like, guys, but for real now, can I eat? Nope. Like,
nope.
It's all over. Kitchen's closed. Like.
Right. Beard says, does the fact that he won't be a first-time offender this time affect his thinking in any way? Probably not. And like, what? Can you charge him with fraud this time? Like, I really do believe there will be some sort of concert. It just won't be this big thing, because he's not actually running it. Another company is. It'll be disappointing, but I don't know if it'll be fraud-worthy. Though it would be funny if it was.
You got a lifetime ban to serve as a corporate officer or director.
Of a public company.
Of a public company. So you could do private companies, but not public. But you never were a corporate officer in a public company.
No, never was.
So
yeah,
kind of like a whatever.
I hope I have that issue, right, where my next business is doing so well that becomes like a big enough for that. But.
Yeah, I mean Martin Shkreli, I think, had the same situation.
Got it.
Yeah, and you guys were locked up together at one point, or in the same building,
we were in the
or something.
Same halfway house when we were released. I think our schedules were different, but the same period of time.
Got it. And you also have to pay $26 million restitution back to the original investors on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess one of the investors wrote a letter to the judge recommending a life sentence.
Crazy.
When you heard that, what'd you think?
Crazy. If you're an investor and you listen to this guy, you deserve it.
I think that
you deserve it.
There was one investor who spoke at my sentencing, and I think it was that investor. And now I recognize, but at the time I was angry because I never met him before. I didn't know who it was. I'm like, who's this guy speaking? And like, oh, it's one of your investors. And then I think he gets up and says, oh, during all my meetings with Billy, I'm like, I never met with this guy. He's lying. And he was lying, but that took away from the real purpose of it. And I spoke about this, at length recently. But I think like a lot of the real victims were people I never met, right? They were like, a family member of an employee. They were, someone else who's paying legal bills to support someone who's now like roped into the situation. So I think ultimately like a fraud crime, the victims aren't necessarily the ones who lost money. Like they are the victims, but the victims are, friends, associates, like innocent bystanders. And I think it took me 8 years after that sentencing day to really realize that. So I think at the time I was mad, like this guy's lying. But now I'm like, I fucking get it, right? Like, yeah.
What a douchebag. I really don't know what to tell you, man. What a douchebag. Oh, he's gonna talk about the scheme he did while out on bail that got him locked up.
Well, like you said, you're ultimately arrested and charged with wire fraud.
Yep.
You get released, and then initially you had to move back into your parents' house?
No, I never. I think that was another media story. No, I never moved back with my parents, but yeah, I was released. I was certainly, had very, very little to nothing at that time, but I was still living in the city.
Is that the one where he tried to sell fake Met Gala tickets? Yes. You cannot sell tickets to the Met Gala, for those who do not know, but he was using this, like, cover, this fake name and this fake person to be the front for this other company he was starting, selling access to things he did not have access to. Scams.
Right, but you're out on bail, and according to some of the people that you were working with, on the Fyre Festival, you were telling everyone that you're definitely not going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really believe that you weren't going to jail?
I think so. I think I was. So they arrested me late on a Friday night, and so I spent that Friday night in jail, and was released the next morning on bond or bail, whatever it's called, and I was scared, right? And I'm like, I saw the people in jail, and I'm like, I'm nervous, and like, this is really me. Like, did I do, like, I was confused. As a 25-year-old kid now, my world collapsed.
25-year-old kid.
I went from like the
25-year-old kid. He was just a wee lad of 25 years old, fully developed brain having motherfucker. I can't. 25-year-old kid.
The biggest noticeable difference was like the day of the festival and the months leading up to it. I'd wake up to 1,000 emergency texts, phone calls, emails every morning. And now I wake up and there was nothing, right? My phone was like as if it didn't work. No one would respond to my text. No one would respond to my call. I was like literally living in like in silence. And it was like the weirdest feeling ever. And I'm like, this can't be real. And I was lying to myself and I was behaving poorly. But yes, I was obviously wrong.
Okay, because then, at one point you were living in in a hotel or a penthouse or something like that after this happened, and you started to assemble another group of people with a company called NYC VIP Access?
Yeah, and this is, I guess, another one of the top 2 or 3 embarrassing moments of my life, I think. I was on bail. I needed money. And one thing that Magnesis had done well prior to Fyre was doing these great experiences for our customers, right? I'm like, okay, I can get back to that. And I was clearly wrong, but I deluded myself into thinking that I could still get tickets or get access or even be invited to some of these events that I, may have had peripheral access in the years before. And so I started selling them, and it was fucked up and it was wrong, and there's no excuse for that.
Right, because you're offering people dinner with LeBron.
I don't know about that one. I was definitely offering ridiculous things.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I heard someone mention that,
okay, I didn't know that.
Which you can't really pay for.
No, yeah, I did.
You can't. LeBron way too rich to have some random
was
have
not,
dinner
was
with
not
him.
aware of that one.
Right.
Can I bid for it now?
Met Gala tickets, which once again you can't just buy. Anna Wintour has to personally approve everybody. Taylor Swift meet and greets, which she does not do.
Hotel or penthouse, which one? There's a big difference. From what I remember from the documentary, it looked more like a penthouse. And actually, weirdly, Chuck Schumer's, who was it? Chuck Schumer's press secretary at the time showed up to meet him. Very strange. Very strange. I remember that very specifically from the documentary, as a guy came to visit Billy, and then a label came up and it was Chuck Schumer's press secretary? Very weird. Never got an answer for why that guy was there.
And then other stuff like, Madison Square Garden floor seats and,
Since Chuck Schumer's been in the news, I thought it'd be fair to bring that up.
Golf Masters tickets and stuff like that. And I guess you were using the Fyre mailing list to hit people up?
Yeah, I definitely use the Fyre email list. I think the premise is true, is that I was selling things that I probably couldn't get. I don't think I was selling LeBron James dinners, but I think that sounds like a documentary story. However, the premise is wrong. Right now, I was behaving like an asshole, and I think ultimately I probably got 3 or 4 more years in jail because of that. I probably got more time, in isolation, probably got more time for that than Fyre Festival, because it was that behavior that was like, oh wait, maybe he is a scumbag, and so I think that really changed my fate.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you got about $100,000 from people with these new schemes, essentially.
Okay.
Is that right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it was
somewhere around there.
Tiny in comparison to the Fyre Festival investor.
But still people's money for services that you were not going to carry through on.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess around the time of the festival, you borrowed around $7 million with an effective annualized rate of 120%.
Yeah.
That's like payday loan prices. That's what are you doing? 120% APR? Jesus Christ, man.
Which you defaulted on?
He's a businessman. He took 120% APR loan. Woo! Even a loan shark would be like, come on, man. That's a little mean.
So then the lender sued you.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially the judge forced you to file for bankruptcy. Or the Fyre Festival company to file for bankruptcy.
The Fyre Festival company, correct, file for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
It should not be legal to offer people an APR of 120%. That's absurd. That's impossible to get out of, basically. You're basically doing that with the intent to seize someone's assets. That's so predatory.
Right, and the festival is supposed to host 3,000 people.
Per weekend for 2 weekends.
So 6,000.
6,000 total, though, yeah.
So 6,000.
6,000 total, yeah.
Total.
Yeah, correct.
And once again, on a piece of land with no electricity, no running water.
Really smart, right?
on an island with a few thousand people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you're trying to figure out the logistics of how to do this. Now, I guess you paid all the residents money so you could use all their homes, essentially?
Yeah, we assembled a street team who took linens, a camera, and a bag of cash and went and knocked on doors and sent people on vacation for 2 weeks.
Right.
That was literally our
If someone came to my door with a bag of cash and said, "Can we use your house for 2 weeks?" I'd assume I was in a reboot of Breaking Bad. Why would you ever say yes? I would assume they were about to do incredibly illegal things in my home. I would seriously consider, is my home about to be the setting of a snuff film? Faces of Death 6, the one in Hannah's house.
Genius plan. Like,
I know Faces of Death is not a real snuff film.
let's go send people on vacation
Gotta preempt that comment.
and you know, change the bed sheets and take pictures.
They're selling copies of Faces of Death at Walmart. Fun fact. What a world.
And call it a day. So we did that. We installed, I think, 800 tents. We had a large number of boats that people either brought themselves or that were being chartered, you know, through us to different yacht brokers. So it was kind of like an all hands on deck. How can we make this work? And obviously the simple answer is we should have pushed it back, right? And had I pushed it back 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, it probably would have worked. I think the reason why, and I didn't admit this to myself
Delusional that he thinks this could have worked.
at the time, was I didn't push it back because I knew I was lying to the investors.
He's truly learned nothing. He just thinks it's a lot. It reminds me of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes. She to this day still seems to think if she had just gotten more time, she could have done it. She doesn't understand the fundamental thing you were trying to do was impossible. Like, you can't do this. Your plan was ridiculous.
And I felt like I had this one chance to make
The
it.
first Faces of Death was mostly fake. There were a ton of very real ripoffs, though. The grossest part of Faces of Death is there's a lot of real autopsy stuff, and there's some, like, animal, like, basically them killing animals in, slaughterhouses and stuff that's really disgusting. So there is some gross stuff in Faces of Death, but the parts that are about people dying are mostly staged.
It right. And
There
if
might
I
be one drowning death that's real in there.
had 12 more months, I couldn't keep the lie up to them. So I was like, we can make this work, and we're gonna have to make this work in 2
I
months.
wouldn't ever recommend Faces of Death, by the way. Not good. It's literally shock value, the movie. It's not worth it. It'll just make you want to throw up at some of the autopsy parts. And I'm pretty good with gore. But, like, it's the banality of the gore in the autopsy scenes. It really showcases the human body as just a piece of, like, meat that can be butchered. Like, it's not pleasant. It's not shocking. It's just banal, and it makes it worse.
Months or 6 weeks, whatever the time frame was.
Okay. And how much money did you have at this point from investors?
I think Fyre total probably raised 30 to 40 million. I think 28 of it was over the course of 4 months. So it was really fast. And that does not count whatever ticket revenue we had, whatever sponsorship revenue we had, right? That was just the investor side of it. So it was definitely a pretty insane cycle of, you know, cash in, cash out, to try to make this dream a reality in such a short period of time.
He's still talking about this, like, scheme as if it's a legitimate business venture. It's incredibly frustrating. I don't know if there's much more about this that we needed to cover today. I did plan on doing a somewhat shorter stream today before we get into the Patreon and YouTube member live stream. Is there anything else? I think so. So thanks everyone for hanging out and talking about Billy McFarland with me today. If anything happens with the Fyre Fest 2, we'll talk about it if and when it happens. But I have a feeling it's not even gonna get there. I think this thing's gonna peter out. Just kind of funny seeing a scam artist going on a world tour trying to scam people yet again. Trust us, guys. This time it's different. It's totally different this time, guys. We promise. Oats. For people like this, fake it till you make it is a religious mantra. I don't think they understand that when people say fake it till you make it, they mean, like, confidence, like fake having confidence. They don't mean lying. They don't mean lying and defrauding people for money. I think they vastly misunderstand what that phrase is trying to get across. Love you too, Mr. Blast. All right, we'll do a raid real quick, and then I'll take probably 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll start the Patreon and YouTube member stream. Logan's streaming?
Is good.
Or Kevin. I always want to call him by his last name. Why I do that. All right. See you guys in a little bit. Oh, and if you're not coming to the Patreon or YouTube member stream, I will see you Tuesday. I do have electrolysis tomorrow, so I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I will be back Tuesday for Tinfoil. So I hope to see you then. Have a great night, everyone. And, be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Don't go to music festivals from known scam artists. It's that simple.